ready to feed in the morning. I have my chicken feed with me, and I open the door a little bit, not for the chickens, but for the goats to come out. Close it if a chicken starts to come. Muffin! And I quickly go in. Watch out, ladies. It's hard to do one-handed. Yeah. And then chicken feed. So they're all happy in there. And then out here we have the two goats. And then you can still hear Aspen inside here. You have to be careful. This is a little bit broken. I don't know what happened the other day. Here she is. So we're gonna put this food in there. Take out the eggs that don't belong. And grab Aspen. Let her fly out. And she gets Aspen. She'll follow me around. Here I have the goat food and Aspen's food. She knows exactly what to do. She knows we go and sit here, and she gets fed underneath the milking stand. And if we're milking, Dave takes care of the goat feed while we're milking, and they get it while they're being milked. If we're not milking, then we can just put it on like a little pile on the ground and they can eat that.
Alright, you want to close her up?
When it's time to milk, we have this feed. We'll put the feed right in there. Toast is eager. She jumped right up. Close this up. Wrap the dog leash around it to keep it closed. You don't need to secure it. You can just wrap it. This is easier done with two people. And then I have some soapy water here that I'm going to clean her with first. Just grab her leg and pull her closer. Hey, put it down. And just clean her off good. And then you just want to strip just a little bit, just one squirt from each. And then she's ready to go with the pump. Just put that on the ground, and I normally lay these over. You attach this guy. You just want to make sure that the little rubber gasket thing is nice and even all the way around. And then you take this guy and just stick it on. Press this little button right here. And you'll be able to see, you hear a sound change and her teeth get sucked down into the tube and the milk starts. Once she has a good flow, you can stop the button and it'll just keep going. Now, with both of them, but especially with Toast, because she doesn't have a ton of milk, you have to squeeze and massage as she's being milked so that it all comes out. And you just want to make sure that she's totally empty on each side. And then same thing with Muffin. Muffin's far side is pretty easy. Her close side is harder. But yeah. So then the milk fills up in there, and then we bring it inside as soon as we possibly can. and we double strain it and throw it in the freezer for 30 minutes and then transfer it to the fridge. And that's about it. Milking itself takes probably about 15 minutes. You can see here I'm pulling up on this to keep her teat inside it, otherwise the suction breaks. And I'm just trying to get every last little bit out.
Do you manually?
And then yeah, at the end I do it manually where there's still quite a bit, and I just do it into there, and I use my finger to draw down to get all that last little bit of milk out. And Toast, since she's so dried up, this is probably about half the milk you get out. You can see here how quickly she goes. Look at the bottle, it's really filling fast. So the way Muffin milks is she goes from really, really fast to stopped. But then there is more. See, there she's stopping right now. There's definitely more in there. So you just have to massage it a little bit and pull and press. See, there's still plenty, and I'm not even pressing that hard. And this is on the far side. The closer side is a little tougher. So Muffin, she still has quite a bit in here, and she's slowing down substantially. She just has more like little pockets that you need to find and massage to keep it going. So I just move my hand around. Sometimes I even use both hands and go at the same time. And I'll kind of just gently squeeze and find those little pockets. Sometimes when, if she runs out of food, she'll get stampy. She'll like lift this leg up and get all grumpy. So if that happens, that's where two people come in handy. Someone can just hold her leg down and in place, and then she knows not to move it. But you can see here, she's drying up. But then if I push, more comes out. So this closer side on Muffin just takes a little more time, because here I'll push, and then as soon as I stop pushing, there she gets stompy again. I don't know why she's not eating super well this morning, but as soon as I stop pressing, then the milk stops. So here it's going, I stop, and it stops. So it just takes a little more manual work to get her totally dry. And then once you think she's kind of done with all of the pump stuff, you can take her off, and then if you squeeze up here and just push, and like I said, I use my finger to run down the teat inside the little, whatever this is, syringe cup. And if you do that a couple of times, you should be able to get it all done. And although this is not as true with Toast, with Muffin, you know she's pretty much dry when she has almost like that wilted, flimsy look to her. Then you know, okay, there's not much left in there. Like you couldn't even put this on and get any suction, because it's just like, it's done. It's wrinkly. So yeah, that's it. And when she's done, you'll be just at about between 2.5 and 3. I think with the heat of the day, she hasn't been making that to 3. We used to be, you know, Toast would get right to the 1, and each side of Muffin would be another cup. But I think with the heat, we've been hitting closer to here lately. So yeah, that's about how much milk you should get from both girls. So if you got about that much, you know you're doing it right. For the water, this is the ducks bathing one, and this is supposed to be water. They don't use them that way. They use them all as both, but this is kind of the dirty one, and this is the clean one. So when I walk over here in the morning, I take this one and dump it into this one, and then refill this one. Every like 2 or 3 days or so, I'll dump this whole thing and rinse it out real quick, and start from scratch, because it's amazing how quickly 2 ducks can dirty the water. Okay, so everybody is fed out here, and in the coop. So now it's time to let the chickies out. So after the goats are fed, everybody's happy, I come back over here. The chickens have all eaten. You can see there's still some left in there. They didn't eat it all. But I let them out and they go running. A lot of times they'll go for the water. That's why I like to make sure the water is done before. Right now they're eating all the things that the goats may have dropped. But as soon as they're done doing that, they will go for the water. You can see Aspen kind of steers clear of them. And the goats are over there. And so now this is the time that I go and get some hay to put out for the goats. So in the garage we have our babies here. There's, let's see, Nessa and Fantine and Mabel. And they have water, and then this is their food bowl. So the water I just fill all the way up to the top, and then as it gets messy I just bring it out to the grass, well, the wannabe grass right there, and dump out the dirty and put it back in, and then that normally lasts about 2 or 3 days. So I normally do that, and then I come and get a flake of hay. So here's the hay, the alfalfa, and I just take off a chunk, and it's messy. That's why our garage is never clean. That and children, you know. Okay, so I have a bit of hay. The goats see it, they get excited. I leave this undone while I go in there. They really can't get out of there, but during the day I keep it locked. So then, oops, come and I bring it over here. And I have stuff in there, so. Anyway, I put it in there and the goats go for it. Okay, so the hay is in there. The goats are now getting excited to eat. Alright, Toast, I'm gonna push you out of the way for a second. So here is Rosemary back on her eggs. These eggs are due to hatch 2 days after we leave on vacation, so that'll be interesting. She gets very grumpy when people come in here and bother her. Like I said earlier, I always leave a little bit of food in there just because we've had eggs disappear and I'm not really sure why, and I'm wondering if she's not getting off of her box enough and she's getting hungry. I'm not sure that that's the reason, but just in case, I leave her with some food. So I just check on her, make sure all is well. When it's time to poop scoop, I have the poop bucket right there and the little pooper scooper. And I just do these ledges here and these dropping boards and the ledges there. I don't worry about the floor. Every couple of weeks I take care of the floor, but on a almost daily basis we take care of the poop just on here. During the day I leave this door closed but this one open, and especially at the heat of the day the animals like to go in there because it's shaded, and then it also lets Rosemary come out and get a drink of water as needed. So now Aspen probably didn't eat enough, so I am going, I didn't mean that much, but I was going to put a little bit out for her because she likes to hang out up here. So she's always up here looking into the garage window. So that's for her later in the day. That's more than enough. When collecting eggs, there's a couple that are laying still in where Rosemary is. I don't know why, but they love it. So those are those 2 eggs that were in the basket earlier. I found those in her nesting box. But most of the chickens are laying behind these 2 wood piles. Oh, see, Aspen has found her food and she is excited. So most of the chickens are laying, no one's laid yet today because I just let them out, back there and back there. So those are our log pile makeshift nesting boxes. Yeah, silly chicken. Now we're to the garden part of the morning. Here are the pumpkins. Every day I come out and I just flip them over real quick. I just grab them by the vine down here. I kind of lift them up and inspect them. So I just lifted this vine up, and sneakily, right under here, there are some eggs. So I don't know anyone else's preferred method of getting rid of them, but mine is to just squish them. So that's what I'm going to do. Next on the list are our watermelons. They are just starting to produce. So I just like to go over the watermelon patch and make sure everything looks good. This next section of garden is my bought garden. So we have some tomatoes, a pepper, a weed in the background, but it's really pretty weed, some peppermint, some rosemary, some basil, and some lemon basil. So I just look for things that are ready to harvest. The tomatoes will probably have quite a few, and then the basil I just try to keep from bolting. So just pinch off those tops. Other than that, that's all with this section. The next section are the peppers. Some of my peppers are not doing so good. You can see they have the blossom end rot, which is not making me happy. It's weird, some of them have it not even on the ends, it's like on the sides. I've never seen that before. I have quite a few jalapenos, and then over here are the eggplants. The next section is my very sad flower garden. I have a couple herbs here. I really don't do anything with them. And then my very sad flowers. Flowers are obviously not my strong suit. This last section is my tomatillos and tomatoes and cucumbers. My tomatillos are doing great because they're huge, but I have yet to see any fruit. So I don't know if they got pollinated or what happened. But keep your eye. Actually, that might be a fruit up there. I think I see one. Woohoo! Take that back. Anyway, I just keep an eye on them, make sure it's all good. My broccoli is just pretty much done. And then we come to the tomatoes. I have a couple ready there. And then some of these are still the bad ones. Let's see. Ah, this makes me so sad. I will still eat them though. I don't know if you should, but I just cut off the bottoms and the insides are still good. So if anything else, I can feed them to the chickens. But yeah, just strolling along, and there's a red one back in there. So yeah, you can also, well, there's quite a few back there. You can go up the stairs, and I have like a little path behind here that you can also harvest from. Here's my sad cucumbers. This section right here is gone. This section over here is still okay. Same thing, I look for squash bugs, and I've been harvesting when they're small because there were a few that I was leaving on to get bigger and they just got yellow, which was super sad. But when I've harvested them small, they're still tasty. So that's the plan. And that's the end. Dave waters it with just the hose over there. He just starts at the end and works his way down. Yeah, it's been so hot that we've been watering every day. If it's not that hot, then we can do every like 3 days or so. But that's it. That's the garden. Woohoo! I forgot to mention our double straining method. So when we come in, we have this jar that was hooked up to our pump, and then we have this right here. It's a double strainer. So we have a strainer in here. There's a little piece that goes in there, and then this strainer. And so we unhook the tubing from here, and we put this concoction in another mason jar, a smaller one, and then we just pour into here. And then when we're done with that, we put one of these white plastic lids on, and then put it in the freezer for 30 minutes, and then we can transfer it to the fridge.